and wording and how we're gonna do this. So like when we got, and I put the link of the book and the links. That's the first living Bible truth book since Afghanistan leave occurred, and it was built through sand and dirt from the ground up. God told me to do that. He showed me a book, and the rest of my knowledge comes from, I want to say, the higher power greater than ourselves. So that way you guys can know that there is something more out here in this world, and have the faith, keep that, and then understand that he really does answer. So I wanted to update you guys on some things because I just, the only reason why I stay in the background is because I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm more or less than anybody, because we're all the same. And yeah, I always like would prefer to be last anyways. So at the after the things are done and said, everything's out, it's time to move forward. And then here's where we're at. We're on the first digital Bible truth books for the first book of books, digital book. This started in August 16th, 2021, the build of it, and was officially bought in October 2023. So with that title, book of books, I was able to hold on to the internet and build websites. So that way you guys can know everything's paid in full. I bought it, and I didn't know what the book was. I've been searching for this book that God had me on this mission for, and I couldn't find the book, so I just bought him the website. Um, so going forward, I didn't know that he was knowing in 2023. He came, and he's the one that I seen from my dream, and it's not possible that I'm still dreaming, or if I am, then wow, God is amazing. So that's my testimony to you. And then like I just wanted to share with you some updates because we're all in it. We're all in this book, and the reason like he's given everybody a chance in life, and even Mark Zuckerberg could have had the book, but he ended up naming it Facebook book. And I also had a book before that. It was a different book, but that too wasn't the book. So maybe the book that I seek is this. And uh, I hear that the confirmation was to God that everything was already written. So that's why a lot of things are written and done already, because it really is true. Um, don't ever think that I'm like here just to be saying things, because if I was saying things out of the blue, then things wouldn't happen in the quickness the way they do. Understand that, yes, I understand that as quick as God gives you something, it can be taken away. Yes. Watch each thing that I do, and care about the way that I'm viewed, and care about each step that I do take. So the Constitution, I come up with this Constitution of the Church, right? So to establish the framework of mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation between Mexican and American communities, including the recognition of each other's traditions and values, to the establishment of clear guidelines for territorial boundaries, economic exchanges, and addressing missing persons or asylum seekers. People running from the law is asylum seekers, this this means those who have been forced to leave their countries due to disasters, or the countries and the weather conditions weren't safe for them to be living in. So, such as floods and tornadoes, and they have to flee from their parts of the areas to come here due to safety reasons. So, asylum, refugee, when you say refugee in English, it means like somebody running from the law. And then refugee, that I think means running from the law. But when you say it in Spanish, refugio, I think it means like something like emergency. So that way we could start teaching them the correct way to say it. Start saying and it had me and emergenia or something like that, like an emergency. So that way we could start teaching them the way to speak it in the English kind of way, but we're also like kind of gradually teaching it. And that way we could carry the process with the English and Spanish part. So no more saying refurujo, say emergency. I don't know. It had means senior, something like that. So established cultural exchange programs for Mexicans and Americans to learn that each other's traditions, customs, and values we honor the Catholic commandments, and we are to respect all races. We shall have no race above anyone or conflicts over people who have issues over a girl or boy to be get rid of the boy or girl if they were like minds of people. So to make anyone fight over them, love is bigger, and we encourage love even from a distance. Don't make love to everyone. Create a joint commission to promote cultural understanding and address any misunderstandings or misconceptions. The word in English might mean different when used in Spanish. Some words mean same or have been miscommunicated over time. Please make sure to know all the correct ways to speak it when using each word. Explain to them in a way that they are used then dolman style. Number 2, territorial boundaries, dolman style. It's spelled DOMINCILE. Recognize and respect the exiting territorial boundaries between Mexico and United States. Establish clear guidelines for broader crossings and trade, ensuring efficient and secure exchange. Address any territorial disputes or concerns through the diplomatic channels. Number 3, economic exchange. Establish a fair and equal trade agreement, promoting economic cooperation and development. Ensure equal access to markets and resources for both Mexican and American businesses. Any economic concerns and through diplomatic channels. 4, legal framework. Establish a legal framework to govern the relationship between Mexico and the United States. So in 1969, they had a first agreement where it happened in Fresno, where they were doing the first agreement of the opportunity to vote and buy land. So this all started in Fresno, so that way we were clear on the boundaries and you guys know more about where it starts from. So Fresno is very important. It's in on this, and it starts there. If Fresno didn't want to help assist in going further with the pursuing of this, we were going to have to do it another way. There's plenty of towns now that we can do this, and we're going to help them because not everybody there knows Spanish, and it will be easier for both of you and the ones that do know Spanish to have this communication and the boundaries set where it's not going to disturb anybody's else. And then we could avoid all the other stuff, like where the misunderstandings are going to take place, because that will avoid conflict. Establish a legal framework of governed relationship between Mexico and the United States. Richgrove recognize the respect and each other's laws and regulations. So our laws are the First Communion 10 Commandments, 10 Catholic Commandments, and those are to be memorized. We want them memorized because it's a sign of respect, and it's so you know better. A lot of times they're not installed with these, and by knowing these, you can know right from wrong. So this is the beginning of that for human moral law. Establish legal framework to govern relationships between Mexico and the United States. A lot of us are related to Mexicans. So so that you guys can know that there shouldn't be a problem when we're crossing borders because of the fact that we're going over there to see family or whatever. The borders were never even fully agreed to. So we're going to need to have those borders somewhere else and not right here on this areas, because Mexico's allowed all around California. But the thing is that, like, the only separating part that we're going to make is the part that where if you guys are not understanding the same languages, then we could take the English totally from like we could use that at what areas? Anderson. We can use that at Anderson to Fresno, the end of that. That way there's no Mexicans in the way of that, and you guys can have your own little English space. So we could work together on the areas, recognize the respect. We don't want to have any more of this conflict. So the best thing is to stay away from certain areas so we could avoid that conflict. And then we'll be going forward. We'll have to whenever somebody does come from the asylum or whatever, that we're also documenting them as asylum, and that way we can know that their territory part is still theirs. So nobody's running out or whatever. So that way that's still their land. Establish a special recommend economic zone in Baja California, promoting economic development and cooperation, address the specific concerns to issues in the border regions and Reynosa, Chicago, Seattle, Washington. Missing persons and asylum seekers. Establish a joint database to track and report missing persons and asylum seekers. Designate a central location for reporting and seeking assistance for missing persons and asylum seekers. Ensure cooperation between law enforcement agencies and address human trafficking and exploitation. Record keeping and reporting. Maintain accurate records of all interactions, agreements, and disputes. Establish a clear and efficient reporting system for any incidents or concerns. Regularly review and update records to ensure accuracy and relevance. 8. Implementation and monitoring. Establish a joint commission to monitor and implement the plan. Regularly review and update the plan to ensure that the effectiveness and relevance to ensure its effectiveness and relevance. Address any concerns and disputes through diplomatic channels. Like, I have the link right here in my Bible Truth part, so if I can get it there, we can begin now. By following this plan, Mexicans and Americans can work together to build a stronger, more cooperative relationship based on mutual respect and understanding and trust. The added components of addressing missing persons and asylum seekers, as well as record keeping and reporting, will help ensure the safety and well-being of all individuals involved. Number 1, okay, so have something. You do not negotiate with the person who has a bad record to immunity. That for me is offending, and if someone ever hurt anyone that I know or love, that is not even a negotiation. It's no negotiation through any kind of an immunity. I will advise now to please put that one in Delano prison, and I'll make sure that I hear what the truth comes out of this. I have plenty of family members there, and I'm there already, so that way you guys can know how big of a person I am. It's not that I'm not a cartel. I'm not anything else. I have a really big family, and we're already in all the areas that we need to be in. So that way you guys can have a better understanding. I'm all the way in Tennessee and Chicago. So that way we can all have this understanding of where we're already settling, and we've marched. So we're right here now. And so don't there's really no need to continue unless you guys want to time by marching. The only time that we should do that is whenever we're having to, like, not when we're not winning a vote, and we have to literally show them through that kind of way. It has to be 420 in every vote, and we're like the majority and minority of all Mexicans right here, right now. Make sure that the wording's right as well. I don't know anything about Latino or Hispanic parts, so that therefore it's an error on me, and I wrote it that wrong. So that way we're on an understanding that we want everything 100% true now. It's our error, and we didn't fully know what the background of that was before. We just heard that it was the English way of saying Mexican, but that's not the case. So we're gonna make it to where the wording's right on point now going forward, because we can't use anything that we're not aware of, and then if we go do that, there's the chances are that there's a spell, or it's a logo, or it could be um, it could mean something else, and we're not no ownership to you or anybody else that's gonna go and change what we are, because we want to keep the name Mexican as 100% fully, never to be changed. As you guys use the word American, I seen that it has the word native in it, and I seen a few times the definitions were different. Another time it was a production, and then another time it meant something else. So we gotta be this where we're gonna make it 100%, and it can't never be changed. So domicile after that, Mexican is Mexican, 100%. And any other kind of words like foul language is not acceptable. So there's no going to be no Operation Wetback, none of that stuff. It's offending for me and to even hear. So um, going forward, it's understandable that I feel this way. I begin as a one that comes first here, and then I know understand that there's like a million that'll follow here, right? So the things that I'm doing and living, I'm putting as an example that I don't want, and I do want what I want to stay and what I don't want to stay. So a few things here is that I wouldn't want to see anybody like disturbing marriages. I don't want to see like a bunch of hoes here, because that's not the kind of Mexican that I want to represent. First off, another thing is that like we're gonna follow the 10 Commandments, and it's expected because it's God's first laws that He's given us since we're in first grade. So the catechism's very important, and we should continue teaching that, so that way they can know and know that it's a real gift that God has given us. So if you need to ensure an individual brought into custody or primary points to connect the law, the local law. So I'll be ready. This is not no 3-day hold. All of you. Are you looking for your plugs? Here. They're right here. So I hold on, so I messed it up. I'm sorry. I was just gonna hold on. Because my kid's dad came in here. Last time I got yelled at. So it was embarrassing. Hold on. I'll get back to you guys in the reading right now. Hold on. Can you close the door, please? Yeah, we're not having a good day, and I never want anybody to go through the same things that I do, because it's not that bad, but it's like you guys we don't really want to have people relying on men anymore. So let me see because God does like love. We are supposed to be here loving, but don't make love to everybody, and don't be a cheater, because that's all bad. So create a joint commission, cultural. Okay, so the territorial boundaries, domicile, recognize all respect and existing territorial boundaries between Mexico and the United States, establish clear guidelines, crossing and trading, ensuring efficient, secure exchange, address any territorial disputes, concerns through diplomatic channels. let me see, I read that already. It established a legal framework to govern the relationship between Mexico and the United States, recognize and respect each other's laws and regulations, addressed any legal concerns, disputes through diplomatic channels, Baja California and border regions, established a special economic zone for Baja California promoting economic development and cooperation, addressed any specific concerns or issues in border regions, such as Reynosa, Chicago, Seattle, and Washington. I'm already in all those areas as well. Missing persons and asylum seekers, I already spoke about that. Establish a joint database to track and report missing people and asylum seekers. Designate central location and reporting and seeking assistance for missing persons and asylum seekers. Ensure cooperation between law enforcement agencies and address human trafficking and exploitation. Record keeping and reporting. So you always want to write the dates, record those dates, and then that way you could go back and be like, well, I reported this on this day. I didn't hear nothing on this day, and I reported it again 3 days after that, and it didn't happen. So like it would be like if the Afghanistan leave call out took 18,000 days today, and the thing has ever been like to where there's still like where anybody's even answering any questions on that. So it's been at 18,000 days. That's a bit much. So the following plan for Mexicans and Americans that they can work together is to build a stronger, more cooperative relationship based on mutual respect, understanding, and trust. The added components of addressing missing persons and asylum seekers, as well as the record keeping and reporting, will help ensure the safety and well-being of all individuals involved. Here in California, you do not negotiate with any officers trying to gain immunity because they're not a judge. If that does happen, that is offending on your part and on ours. So no cops should. Just like explaining about the part where, because I'm hearing already enough. I've heard enough that I'm not gonna be okay with hearing that, because if somebody that I knew got hurt, I'm gonna be like, why is that one out, or anything like that. I'm not okay with that. The thing is that like we want a firm boundary where they're gonna have to stay in jail now, and there's no negotiating. The thing is that like when you're not following the law, you have to go to jail, and you got to do that, pay the consequences for that. Nobody's asking for the freedom. And your freedom is now, before you go and you make a bad call and make a bad mistake. This is to everybody. You guys have to honor and obey the 10 commandments. At least know that those will be like your first safety net for the laws for life. They'll keep you safe, and that should actually be your platform of what to know when you're doing right from wrong. So this will avoid conflicts. It'll avoid fights. It'll avoid a lot of things. It'll keep you strong at mind because you'll know already that you have boundaries. So that's something that is important, and it's expected to know. A lot of times when they're not taught that, they don't know. So that way, where you guys are understanding that, and then that's the boundaries now for the Mexican American here in California. Let me take this off and then go forward. So we're working. Okay. So the order of all times, the only time you have immunity is before or breaking any laws. You can't get it that twice. A cop is not a judge. They have no right to be doing that with any criminals. It's possible. It's not a legal right that has ever been voted on by any laws. We need to ask all nations if they are aware of this for the accurate answer. If I were you, I'd ask the question and do that. If they have to do that, the things a judge says, you have to follow the orders. Order all are expected to do the time. You're all expected to do the time if you ever are in trouble with the law. When was this ever a law? And okay, do you do that, please, and help me write this properly. So the perspective of everyone should serve their full time without immunity or deals is shared. No, none of that. By many who believe in strict accountability and the rights of victims, historically, immunity agreement and plea bargains were not part of early American law. They evolved primarily in the late 19th and 20th century. Well, guess what? We're there now. Uh, Federal Witnesses Immunity Act as courts become overcrowded. Every person is a judge practically now. So we're your new jurisdiction. We they involve so and prosecutors sought to a tool to convict high-level criminals by facing lower-level offenders to testify witness immunity. The practice was heavily solicited by the U.S. Supreme Court in the 1972 case Castrigan versus United States, which ruled that granting immunity to compel testimony is legally permissible. Witnesses immunity. Below is a draft that a form, protocol, and statement of principles that reflect a commitment to total accountability, zero immunity, and absolute accountability per protocol. Primary detective. When someone loses trust in the midstream or institutions within its own nation, it can lead to a range of consequences, including decreased adherence to medical treatment or individuals who don't trust the system. They may less likely be able to follow treatments or seek medical care or asylum. Increased, so it'll just be a mess. This we want to go more on the universal though, everything. So we'll include that, and I want to include something else that I want you guys to hear about on the territory part before we dome and seal. Dome and seal, other topics. The full story and digital landing page and credit everything to the creator, and if you use the title, credit still goes to the original founder. Today is June 19, 2026. It is the day of our Lord, who's come to the gifts of God's land, and is going to talk now about the land. What's what a landlord means. Are you ready? First, thank God for his promises were kept true. We're now on the resurrection and judgment day. Nayib Armando Bukele Ortiz is the world we pick him. And this is the first elected ballot. So we are center where the north and south splits, and the line is called county line. And I have to announce now the sign of the cross where north south meet here. We move this easy. We move this for easy to send to you west. We're not west on the map. We live in California. We are the biggest 31 state in our nationality is Mexican. And we'd like to show the mysteries of the north, south, east, and west, and the symbol of the sign of the cross now. For God is always with me. What would you say now that I am? I am the most master voter on everything since SoFi. So go ahead, look it up, and I want to keep that as it was since markets are going that way. I'm in this all the way. All shall know now what we're against on this first come first win part. Okay, it should be me and Florida, but winner takes all. Next, we'll have all markets peoples and owners do a 20% rise. We ask for 20% more resurrection and deplete 10%. Doomed. If by our Lord is going to leave the only 2% of you to remain if we say that that's what we're going to do. So the book is built from the ground up, and new digital world was being bought with pennies on the dollar. In the 12 days of the Afghanistan leave, I told Biden I had something to show him. It was in search of a book of books, but could not find the book, and it seemed so. So I bought God. I seeked. I couldn't find the book that I seek, so I bought God the website bookofbooks.agency, and then the Bible Truth Books appeared as a title. I know it's my mission, and I want to say the title was a gift. I can just keep to myself. I can't just keep it to myself. I told you we were going to talk about the territory, and the Mexicans were coming. I'm that Mexican, and in the photo that my grandpa of my grandpa, please respect and preservation of what we are and never change the status of any names that we are current. We now want to make everything permanent and the streets and laws and forgive only that last time and allow the boundaries of the rules to be known, as well follow the 10 Catholic commandments and all get what we deserve in this life, including me. It's not our job to be getting no one back, and it's not our job to do anything bad, but it's our job to love life, and God handles our enemies, not us. This is new to me. Please know that before this day, we were not documented as a human. And then when we learned that God had expectations on how to be a human, those who acted like animals did turn into animals. We are all saw, and He expects real proper going forward. We choose to honor God and the Eucharist, rules, prayers, 10 Catholic commandments. Also in the official document, it says McAllen, Texas, in Mexico. Don't you think if it was Hidalgo, it would say something different? It would say Hidalgo. If this wasn't changed then, the words are still set and clear as in the communication that I have in this thing. I have errors, but I'm trying to explain it that the documents that I have there, they show McAllen, Texas in Mexico. So that way you guys can know that this is not something that said Hidalgo in those times, where we're not going to follow false history. We're going to do the history now from what we know. This will avoid any future conflicts of misunderstandings going forward. You guys can have my permission to fix everything and make it wherever it's going to be to your liking. And then we'll be doing this book right here, like a constitution. Go ahead and fix every error and make it better. That way, and go ahead and ignition, because I'm last. I'm not in here for any of that. So you guys, we got a lot of work to do, and let's just make it right already. And I got the first blueprint. We're all in it. The Bible's in it. We're all in it. And let's do this. Today's a new day. I hope you guys have a great day. And thank you guys all for cooperating. You guys are doing great.